Welcome to Lions News Fan Report, your trusted source for all the latest updates and insider information about our beloved Detroit Lions. Something massive is unfolding in Allen Park right now, something that's forcing us to revisit one of the most controversial decisions in franchise history. I've got details that are going to challenge everything you thought you knew about the direction of this team, and trust me, you need to hear every single word because the implications are staggering. There are moments in sports where a single transaction defines an entire era, moments where the ripple effects of one decision continue to shape a franchise years after the fact. And right now, as we're sitting at 13-2 with the best record in franchise history, as we're staring down a legitimate Super Bowl run, we need to talk about the foundation of everything we've built. We need to talk about the trade that changed Detroit Lions football forever. March 2021. That's where this story begins. The Lions were coming off yet another disappointing season, sitting at the bottom of the NFC North, desperately searching for an identity and a path forward. The franchise had a decision to make, one that would either set them up for sustained success or condemn them to more years of mediocrity. And the centerpiece of that decision was their franchise quarterback, Matthew Stafford, who had spent 12 seasons in Detroit, giving everything he had but never quite getting over the hump. The Lions made a move that shocked the football world. They traded Stafford to the Los Angeles Rams in exchange for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks in 2022 and 2023, and a third-round selection in 2021. At the time, the reaction was mixed at best. Some people thought the Lions got fleeced, giving up a proven elite quarterback for a player many viewed as damaged goods and some draft capital. Others saw the vision, understanding that sometimes you have to tear everything down to build it back up the right way. And here's where things get really interesting, where we need to examine exactly what that trade has meant for both franchises and what it tells us about where the Lions are headed moving forward. Because as we approach our electrifying Week 15 matchup against those same Rams, Lions head coach Dan Campbell has been reflecting on that deal, and his comments reveal everything about how the organization views this transaction nearly 4 years later. Campbell said recently that both teams should be excited about what the trade yielded. He acknowledged that the Lions are fortunate to have the guy they have in Goff and to get all the additional assets that came with him. But then he listed the players Detroit was able to acquire with those picks, and that's when you realize the full scope of what this trade accomplished. Let me break down exactly what the Lions got from that deal, because the details matter here. With the 2021 third-round pick from the Rams, Detroit selected defender Ifeatu Melifonwu, who's now with the Miami Dolphins. That pick didn't pan out the way they hoped, but that's just the beginning of the story. The 2022 first-round pick the Lions received, which was number 32 overall, was packaged with picks 34 and 66 in a trade with the Minnesota Vikings. Detroit moved up to pick 12 and also acquired pick 46. With those selections, they landed wide receiver Jameson Williams and defensive lineman Josh Paschal. Williams has developed into one of the most explosive playmakers in the league, a game-breaking talent who can take the top off any defense. But wait, there's more. In the 2023 draft, the Lions had another first-round pick from the Stafford deal, sitting at number 6 overall. They traded back number 12, acquiring picks 34 and 168, while sending pick 81 to Arizona. Those selections became running back Jahmyr Gibbs at 12, tight end Sam Laporta at 34, and defensive tackle Broderick Martin at 96. Martin is now with Pittsburgh, but Gibbs and Laporta have been absolutely transformative for this offense. Think about that for a second. The Stafford trade directly resulted in the Lions acquiring Jameson Williams, Jahmyr Gibbs, and Sam Laporta. 3 players who are now cornerstones of the most explosive offense in the NFL. 3 players who are in their early 20s with their entire careers ahead of them. 3 players who fit perfectly into the culture and system that Dan Campbell and Brad Holmes have built. And then there's Jared Goff himself, the quarterback who came to Detroit with questions about his ability to lead a franchise, who had been benched in Los Angeles, who many people viewed as a throw-in to make the salaries work in the Stafford trade. The same Jared Goff who's now playing at an MVP caliber level, leading the Lions to a franchise-best 13-2 record, and orchestrating an offense that's averaging over 30 points per game. Goff's transformation in Detroit has been nothing short of remarkable. He's completing over 70% of his passes. He's making smart decisions with the football. He's showing poise in the pocket. And most importantly, he's winning games at a historic rate. This isn't the same quarterback who struggled with confidence in Los Angeles. This is a mature, confident leader who has found the perfect system and the perfect coaching staff to maximize his abilities. But here's the question that's starting to circulate, the question that we need to address head-on, because it's going to become louder as we get deeper into the playoffs and into the offseason. With Goff playing at such a high level, with the Lions sitting in prime position for a Super Bowl run, with the franchise experiencing unprecedented success, is there any scenario where the Lions would consider moving on from their quarterback? Now, before you start typing angry comments, hear me out. I'm not saying the Lions should trade Goff. I'm not even saying they're considering it. But in the NFL, nothing is sacred, and every decision has to be evaluated through the lens of maximizing your championship window. And with the Lions having built such an incredibly talented young roster, with cap considerations always looming, with the draft always presenting opportunities, it's worth examining all possibilities. Let's look at the facts. Goff is currently in the middle of a 4-year, $134 million contract extension he signed in 2022. He's got guaranteed money through the 2024 season, and his cap hit increases significantly in 2025 and beyond. The Lions have major decisions to make regarding extensions for players like Amon-Ra St. Brown, who's entering the final year of his rookie deal, and other key contributors who will be looking for new contracts. From a pure football perspective, Goff has been everything the Lions could have asked for and more. He's the perfect quarterback for this system. He has tremendous chemistry with his weapons, and he's proven he can win in the biggest moments. The offense flows through him, and his ability to get the ball out quickly and accurately is a perfect match for Ben Johnson's scheme. But here's where the speculation comes in, and this is purely hypothetical analysis based on how NFL teams operate. If another team came calling with a massive offer for Goff, if they were willing to give up multiple first-round picks and young talent, would the Lions have to at least consider it? Especially if they believed they could find a younger, cheaper quarterback option in the draft or through another trade. The Lions have shown under Brad Holmes that they're not afraid to make bold moves. They've been aggressive in the trade market, they've been creative with roster construction, and they've consistently prioritized building for sustained success rather than short-term fixes. That philosophy has served them incredibly well, transforming them from perennial losers into legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Looking at the current quarterback landscape in the NFL, there are always teams desperate for signal callers, teams that would view Goff as the missing piece to their championship puzzle, teams that would be willing to pay a premium to acquire a proven winner who's playing at an elite level. And if the Lions believed they could turn those assets into even more young talent while transitioning to a quarterback on a rookie contract, that's the kind of calculation that front offices have to make. But here's the reality that I keep coming back to, and this is why I'm ultimately optimistic about Goff's future in Detroit. The Lions are 13-2. They're playing the best football in franchise history. They have a legitimate shot at winning the Super Bowl this year. And Jared Goff is a massive reason why all of that is possible. You don't mess with that kind of chemistry and success unless you absolutely have to. Dan Campbell's comments about being fortunate to have Goff tell you everything you need to know about how the organization views their quarterback. This isn't a coach who's looking to make a change. This is a coach who recognizes that he has a special player, a perfect fit for his system, and a leader who has bought into the culture completely. The comparison to what happened with Stafford and the Rams is instructive here. Los Angeles got immediate results, winning a Super Bowl in Stafford's first season. But since then, they've struggled with injuries, cap issues, and roster construction challenges. The Lions, meanwhile, have built something sustainable. They've got young talent on rookie contracts, they've got a clear identity, and they've got a quarterback who's performing at an elite level without the massive cap hit that comes with top-tier free agent signings. As we head into this Week 15 matchup against the Rams, the storyline writes itself. Stafford versus Goff, the quarterbacks who were traded for each other, facing off in a game with massive playoff implications. The Lions have already beaten Stafford and the Rams in the playoffs last season, winning their first home playoff game at Ford Field. A win this Sunday would lock in a fourth consecutive winning season for Detroit and further cement this team's status as legitimate championship contenders. The beauty of where the Lions are right now is that they don't have to make any drastic moves. They've built the roster the right way, they've developed young talent, they've created a winning culture, and they've got a quarterback who fits perfectly into their system. Goff isn't going anywhere, and that's exactly how it should be. The Stafford trade will be debated for years to come, but from where I'm sitting, both teams got exactly what they needed. The Rams got their Super Bowl, and the Lions got the foundation for sustained success. And as we chase our first ever Super Bowl appearance and championship, having Jared Goff leading this offense gives us the best possible chance to achieve that goal. Now, I want to hear from you Lions fans. Do you think Jared Goff should be the long-term answer at quarterback for Detroit? Are you comfortable with his contract and his fit in this offense? How do you evaluate the Stafford trade nearly 4 years later? And what do you think it would take for the Lions to even consider moving on from Goff? Drop your thoughts in the comments below because I genuinely want to know how the fan base is feeling about our quarterback situation. If you found this analysis valuable and you want to stay updated on every development with the Detroit Lions, make sure you hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications. Here at Lions News Fan Report, we're bringing you the most comprehensive coverage, the deepest analysis, and the insider information you need to stay informed. We're in the middle of a historic season, and you don't want to miss a single moment. I'll see you in the next one. Pride.